rolling on the first attempt of this show tonight.
Take
Comic
one.
Playground, take 100. We just saw Captain Marvel. My daughter was extremely happy with the end credits. She liked the movie as well, but Juliet was enthralled with the movie, loved it tremendously. So let's hear what everybody had, all the thoughts.
I disliked it.
Okay, there's
Okay.
Right off the bat.
Now, first of all, let's say the way Adonis sits watching a movie is upright, fully perfect posture,
I noticed
with
that.
eyes wide open, and I can't believe you disliked it that much because the way you were watching was like, Merry Christmas.
Rapt
man."
attention.
Yeah,
I definitely, especially when it comes to, sci-fi or hero movies and things like that, I definitely make sure that I block everybody else out. So it's just me in the screen, like how I was in
the podcast. I've seen you do that in the
Yes.
podcast.
Just you on the screen.
Just you on the screen.
That's it.
No, but there were. Overall, I had a very positive thoughts on it. There were some things that we'll get to that threw me a little bit. But who really liked it? Did everybody really like it?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I really liked it. I liked how it takes place 24 years ago. So you forgot how bad technology was then there and how good the music was. But I mean, it was just funny just how they're dealing with the technology back then to how it is today.
Donnie, I've seen your pager, and I know that you're not that far advanced from that.
I still got the Zach Morris brick phone.
Oh my gosh!
Well, the only book you've read is Behind the Bell, so it makes
Behind the
sense.
Bell.
Is that what it's called? Behind the
That's
Bell?
make it working
Yeah.
out pretty well. So, from the beginning, there were some things that were crazy to me. Did anybody feel, especially there was a chase scene, and I was seeing a flying chase scene, and it was totally Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got heavy.
I
I got
got
Star
that.
Trek vibes as
You got
well.
Star
Super
Trek
sci-fi.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off at several moments where I was already watching a Star Wars movie. Like the elements of it was really kind of heavy, especially on the space scenes that were almost jarring. Even though I knew it was going to be like a cosmic adventure with Captain Marvel, there was a lot of moments, especially like that climatic or lack thereof, in my opinion, battle up in the air where I was like, okay, like I'm getting the pew pew and we're weaving and it was might as well be TIE fighters and the Death Star.
It did feel very Death Star-y
Very
to
much
me.
so.
But I liked the overall story. I was happy with that. There were weird moments to me where it's the timing of the acting seemed kind of odd.
Yes, I think that was one of the things that affected me the most.
Or the Morrist.
The Morrist.
Zach Morris.
Beat me to it.
I think that was purposeful, though. Like I got like a T2 vibe.
Yes.
I felt like
did.
everything from there was intentional. I think Brie Larson is a fantastic actress, and so is Samuel L. Jackson as an actor. And everything that, she won an Oscar for Best Actress, and so everything I felt like she was doing was very intentional in how she wanted to portray the character.
I'm with you 100%.
I felt like it was intentional for the character who's rediscovering their humanity. But other than that, I'm not a big Captain Marvel fan in general. I'm kind of notorious at my shop for loving to hate her.
And thank you for coming to this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me and having me.
No, it's here's something that I noticed too. Jude Law to me he's an incredible actor.
Yes, he is.
And every time he was on the screen, my attention went right to him
Straight
and
to him.
didn't look away from him. And that was the struggle I had with Brie Larson actually a little bit in this movie. Because I actually liked her overall, and I thought there were moments where I was going, yes, this is the moment.
But it needed more.
Yes.
It needed more.
Yeah, and her timing. Give me 1 second. Her timing on some of the lines just felt like she wasn't throwing them away, but she wasn't hitting them for me. It was like she's like, so that's how it is, and I'm going, oh, I just wanted to feel that more.
Yeah, it for me, it felt like I was waiting for the punchline the entire time. It struck me the same way that Justice League did. I was happy that I was seeing the heroes that I was looking at. I was happy to be in this world that they created, but at the same time, I wasn't getting what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm. I actually have a counterpoint. I actually thought that I didn't particularly like Brie Larson performance in general, but I thought it wasn't as bad as I was expecting going in.
See, I think
I
a
was
lot of
worried
people. I think a
about-
lot of people had expectations.
Well,
that's part of it, though, too. Don't you think?
Okay. Yeah,
that's
and
what we got into on the podcast earlier this
Yes.
week was getting away from social media, and it's hard because there's so much coming through the entire time. Go ahead.
Oh, the funny thing though, my perception was entirely shaped almost by the trailers. I mean, watching it, I felt that I was worried that Captain Marvel was going to be less of a character and more of a symbol and more of a theme, and that we were using her not only to kind of move along the Avengers Endgame story, but also just what she represented and less of her as a character and how that fit in. And I already knew they were going to change the story of Carol Danvers to kind of fit this story here. So I was worried that Carol herself would be lost in all of it. Like, not even social media wise, but just like something I had a bad vibe about all the way throughout. So then when I did watch it, I was like, I could see some moments where there was some development, where there was an arc, if you will.
If you will, we must. Yes. We shall.
And so that's what I mean. Like, it wasn't great at all. It wasn't like, wow, that was amazing. But it also wasn't. It was meh. Like, okay.
Yeah.
I agree like 110% with that, because my whole take on Captain Marvel is I like Carol Danvers, but I hate Captain Marvel. I enjoyed her as Ms. Marvel. I enjoy the history of the character. I understand. I mean, she's kind of got several origin stories, so a lot of what hinged for me for the movie was which one they were going to go with. But ultimately, I knew it was just going to basically be a filler movie to kind of connect to Endgame and
It had
lead
that.
us
It
there.
did have that feel. I don't know if you know this, but it started in 1939 in the Fawcett comics in DC.
Oh, do tell.
That's going to be a lot
They were
longer
going-
of a podcast.
That was fun.
Okay, so if you listen to the podcast every week, you would know where that's coming from, or earlier in this week, where Joe tried to give the history of the character, and I refused to let him talk. So, Donnie, we haven't heard. Did anything make you mad?
No, not at all. Actually, I like the what's the
That
word?
was a lead in. Just
You
make something
zig and
up.
he zags.
Yeah, just make something up. No,
the tribute they paid for Stan Lee at the
Yeah,
very beginning
that
of
was
the movie.
awesome.
I literally got a little misty eyed. I was like, all right, hold it together. But
who was
it was
clapping
good.
for that? Because it was only our group.
There was a guy in the back.
It started with our fan audience that our winner of the fans or whatever. I'm sorry,
Winner of the fans.
Yeah,
They
winner
didn't
of
come
the
up with
fans.
signs
Sign
on
the
contest.
only one.
it was them. And then we all chimed in like, yeah, it was good.
You need a starter.
Yeah,
It felt appropriate.
it definitely did.
Can we talk about the villains or
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, try not. We don't want to spoil anything, but we
Yeah.
can talk about if there's. Go ahead. What-
I'm not going to mention any names. Trying
Sure.
to remember them. That's how forgettable they were. It almost feels like
Wow, you got a lot of spice today.
Yeah, it was like the classic Marvel tradition of like outside of a few good villains. I mean, there wasn't anyone of note. Maybe was it because Captain Marvel is so super powered that everyone else kind of just trembled in their wake as far as being like a worthy adversary. There wasn't anything. It felt like the story was her discovering herself and then pushing past whatever resistance was available, and that was the end of it. I wasn't at all worried for the character as far as a plight. I couldn't even tell you what was at stake aside from, I mean, obviously, you know, the world invasion, yada yada. I just thought it was very forgettable. And yeah, I mean, the climatic fight was, I literally was like almost about to yawn. Like I knew.
Wait a second. Have you seen Fantastic Four?
Yes. Oh,
Come on.
it's in the. Oh no, I actually. Funny story about that, but yes, I know what you mean. I fell asleep in that one, literally.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that.
No, it wasn't that bad. That was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But at the same time, I get this is a filler movie, but I wish there was like a little bit more there aside from
This
just,
is gonna be a filler movie that makes a lot of money. I'll tell
It
you that.
really
yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
I think
But
they're predicting.
I want to hear you guys'
150
thoughts on
million.
that.
Do you feel like this movie is a setup in a good way for what's coming? As in, you couldn't. We don't know what happens in Endgame, but
Well,
you
that's what-
can't
that's what-
know
that's
what
what
happens
Ashley was
in
saying, too,
Endgame
right, that
without
it's-
having this.
That you had to know who Captain Marvel was, and this was
Yeah.
a backstory for Captain Marvel, a prequel.
You mean
if you will.
right,
Did it have
right,
to be?
but like to compare it to another movie, for example, Fellowship of the Ring, Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
You know, it really just sets the stage for what's to come, and it's 3 hours long, but not a lot happens of any consequence during the movie. But you can't have the rest of it without that movie.
Yeah.
Right, it's a setup film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of setup movies. DC tries to do a lot of setup movies. It never
That's
gets
all
to.
DC does.
Oh,
Except
my
that
God.
That's all
Yeah.
DC
Yeah.
does.
Except
is
weirdly,
setup
Adonis
movies.
loved Man of Steel.
Okay.
The director's cut.
Hey, it's not like you liked
Or do you
Wolverine
like-
Origins. I mean, that'll make you like this movie a lot better.
True
I
that.
did like it, but I wanted tickets to go watch the premiere at Tempe Marketplace.
I
so
remember
I'm
that
kind of
contest.
biased.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is, you want an origin on Captain Marvel? Let's do one like Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. Let's do this one more time. Bam.
Yeah.
Quick run through, we're done.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't need all of that. But that's just me.
It felt like a
But what
background
else would-
character.
But there's
they
already
have done.
been like 3 other origin movies for Spider-Man, so you have to do that when you're doing Spider-Verse. You can't.
So what do you mean by that, Ashley? What else would they have done?
Well, what else would they have done for an origin story for her? Like the Skrulls are like a really big part of like Captain Marvel's storyline, and I feel like the timing of the movie release is kind of fortuitous for the comics because there was a new comic that was released today, Meet the Skrulls, which kind of had a similar tone to the plight in the movie. So I think that's kind of a nice piggyback. I don't know if that was on purpose. Hopefully so.
I think
But
they
I
planned
mean,
I would have liked if they did like they treated the Black Panther in Captain America: Civil War, and they introduced him. You have the powers in this story, and then you have another movie later to establish the roots and everything of that sort. So yeah, the powers and everything comes in. You bring her in and how she impacts that story, and then she finds herself. So maybe she goes through the movie and the arc, not really knowing where she fits in, but knowing what's right and what's wrong and what she's there to accomplish, and then she sets out to achieve this mission.
I feel like they did that all in this movie, though.
But the
Yeah,
Black
they
Panther
kinda
did
did.
not change the course of Civil War. Like
Yeah.
I think she is going to change the course of Avengers Endgame.
well, she's a total powerhouse. So if you introduced her sooner, then you run into the
over.
whole like, oh, well, then she could have stopped Hydra and she could have stopped everything else that happened earlier. So they had to. The timing of her entrance was really important.
And it does make you wonder
I get what you mean.
the whole, when at the end of Infinity War, when Nick Fury or just Fury reaches out to her. What before did not quite constitute emergency?
Exactly.
Yeah, quite at that level that he was willing to
It'll
reach
be
out to her.
fine. It'll be fine.
There were some
Yeah.
weird things like that to me too. Hooking the extraterrestrial communication device up to a regular phone seemed
a payphone.
a payphone. That
At
seemed
that,
odd
yeah.
because that's going to be wired into something else. It was just odd to me. I knew they had to bridge the technology, but it just seemed in this day and age. You look back at that. I know we're looking from the future back, but it was just odd to me that a regular telephone could do that.
I felt
It's
they
like the
just
way
did that.
Doc did it.
Aliens.
I think they did
man.
it as a nostalgia thing because she probably
E.T.
could have
like?
had the technology. Very
Yeah.
much an ET thing. No, but like she's got her little comm thing on her arm. They could have just said this is her communication device and she can reach out whenever.
Yeah.
But they wanted to show the payphone. They wanted
Right,
to show
right.
a Game Boy. They wanted to show a Radio Shack and a
Did they want to do a thing
Blockbuster.
where you're hitting the table and
So
the
hard.
microphone just bounces each time?
It was nice.
Yes.
I thought it was like a little like ode to Back to the Future,
Yeah.
like how he had to use stuff from the time period to rebuild the.
No, I thought it was
Gotcha.
fun. I thought I overall I liked the movie. Who would give it a thumbs up? I would give it a thumbs up.
I would for sure.
I'd give it a thumbs
Absolutely.
up.
Absolutely.
Adonis, we're not even
He
looking
gives
over
it 2
you.
middle fingers up.
You're kind of a sideways.
I'm
too, but
gonna-
you don't
I'm
like the
gonna-
character.
Sideways.
I'm in the middle.
I will say that my expectations were low because I do feel like people, set the bar really high and then nothing's going to ever like live up to it. So my expectations were low, and I wanted to go in liking it because, like I said, I do enjoy Carol Danvers. I don't really like Captain Marvel, and so there were moments I liked. But overall, I'm not really surprised by how I feel about the movie.
It's kind of difficult because Infinity War and what we're expecting from Endgame are so massive.
huge,
Right.
huge.
Okay, guys, over there, sideways, thumbs up, direction of a thumb. 2 thumbs up
2?
from Donnie. He went
Thank
2
you.
thumbs.
I was going to go 2 middle fingers up.
Thank you for not doing that. Thank you, Donald.
I mean,
Actually, guys,
yeah.
did you guys think about this? There was wasn't there rumors about how she can change the time?
That was actually Samuel Jackson confirmed he was messing with people. He was spreading that to
okay.
people.
I was just messing with people.
Yeah, I saw it today and I thought it was hilarious.
I'll tell you
that
what
he
I
would do
like.
that.
I probably
But
can't tell
I'm
you.
like,
I was going to think about the look of Nick Fury. You kept thinking what happened was the reason for
Yeah.
what I'm talking. I'm trying.
They had a couple red herrings for that.
Yeah,
you kept
totally.
waiting for it.
Yeah, but early on, stuff kept happening to Nick Fury, and you're going, "That's what happened." Oh no,
Oh, no.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
that was fun to me. I mean, it's funny that everybody's pointing out all the little things that happened in the movie that they seem to like, whether it was the Stan Lee thing or
Oh, that was awesome.
The Juliet loved the post the mid credit scene Adonis at the final end credit scene looked at me and goes,
Yeah.
He literally,
Yeah.
which
Which is
that might
actually
be a spoiler.
maybe what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
But it was it was just funny to me how people were picking out, because I think people really wanted to like the movie.
Yes.
And there were just moments where you're going, wait, but again, I go back to, there was some little timing thing. I don't know if it was Brie Larson or what, but even that initial fight, that you see some of it in the trailers, and you see Brie Larson and Jude Law, and like we said at the beginning, Ashley and I, like, Jude Law just holds the whole screen.
Yes,
and
He
he
was far more intense.
and his face,
it's the creepy contacts.
but
Yes.
right, but his face is concrete, and she would have little twitches in it. And you're going, it doesn't seem like you have the muscle that he does in that, because I've
to
worked
command attention.
right.
Yes.
But that acting, I've worked on that so many times in acting, in an acting class, and to be able to be perfectly still and only use the tools on your face and only your face, especially on a giant screen like that, is very difficult. So maybe that was a little bit of the.
Do you think that was planned though too? I mean,
Could be.
he's saying no emotion, no emotion. She's emotional. She's Carol Danvers. She's
But
emotional.
I didn't-
He also knows, like, as a character, he knows the past.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I've
He
got.
has that
that's why I want to
confidence.
actually watch it again for that reason.
I typically have like a 3-time rule where I'll watch a movie once to just kind of watch it, enjoy it, and the second time to do all the nitpicky stuff,
not
go
enjoy it
through,
the second
not
time.
enjoy it, and then usually I'll go back a third time to decide whether or not I like it. I get
Wow.
really
It's a
nitpicky.
lot of
That's a
time.
lot.
It's a lot of money. Marvel has a lot of my money.
So they're successful at
So it
bringing out
works.
this movie, is what you're saying.
Since we
works.
started talking, especially when you brought up Black Panther, Corbin, I was looking at it in a different way as soon as you said that, and I'm thinking about it now as if she is the problem child that came back home. And now that I'm looking at it like that, I definitely think I need to watch it again.
Yeah, Captain Counterpoint countering his own point.
Good job. Point counterpoint. Adonis alone.
Yeah. It gets a solid middle for me. It
Yeah,
definitely wasn't a
definitely
Spider-Man
a
2, that's for sure.
I thought it was going to be a little too campy right in the beginning. The little
Yeah.
jokes seemed like a little bit too much. But
It
as
seemed
it
forced.
Yeah.
went on,
Yeah.
I really ended up getting more of like a first Superman kind of vibe of that kind of campy, like smiley nature, and
It
I
felt-
like that.
There was something odd that felt almost 70s-ish sometimes. The cars and 80s and 70s cars to me.
I think the 90s were just,
A
it's that long
conglomeration of
ago.
those.
It just. What was that?
The 90s were just a conglomeration of those.
Yeah, I
The
guess.
70s
I
and
guess
the
they were.
80s
People weren't buying brand new cars. I know our family wasn't,
Really?
so I don't know why I'm thinking. I guess it's just it is so far, and cars look so different now that I don't know what he was driving, but like it looked like a Chevy.
That was probably like
Looks like a matchbox.
And it was early 90s, correct? Am I
In
right?
95.
Yes.
Oh, so
95.
Broham.
Mid 90.
maybe right smack in the middle.
Tell me more.
Anybody have a favorite, like, 90s moment that happened in the movie of that? Yeah.
This is going to be from the 70s.
No, it was
Like there was a 90-year-old man on the train. 90.
He was 90.
There were
90s.
There were 90. Exactly how I was saying it. too.
3D
Yes.
movies.
Who was riding the train in LA in the 90s? There were like
Just
nobody.
the Skrulls.
I'm hitting the table again.
Skrulls.
Only Skrulls.
Just Skrulls.
No, it was when they were driving to go kind of get some answers, and they were talking. The car that Fury was driving was a Chevy Impala, and I just kept hearing in my head, "Wanna be a baller, shot caller, 20 gauge on the Impala."
We got it,
And
we
like,
got it.
I just
I don't even know what's happening right now.
It's a song.
It's a good song,
Yeah.
too.
It's a song.
darn
It's
good
a song, apparently.
Oh, hold on. Juliet just texted me.
Uh-oh.
In one trailer, Captain America has short hair and no beard.
Oh, with the-
And in the end credit scene, he... Okay, I shouldn't read the rest
Yeah, I
of
was
it.
about to say, well, as soon as you said Captain
I think-
America,
Oh, boy.
I think people can guess what you were
How excited! I mean, the end credit scene. Say what you will about the rest of the movie. The end credit scene was,
Best
probably
part.
the best
Pretty-
part.
You know,
Best
what's, everybody
part.
knows what's coming.
but still, you
Right.
had to look forward to that.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, and it wasn't like a big game changer when you see the end credit scene, but it gives you that excitement for next month.
Yes.
so much
Absolutely. Yes.
excitement.
Which leads me to this almost that it's almost like a trailer for Endgame. For Endgame. Am I right?
The whole movie
it's
was a
guess what's
trailer
happening
for
next
Endgame.
month? Guess what's happening next month?
It's
Are
like
you guys
uber
excited?
important
Yeah.
and also not important at all. That's how I
See,
feel about the movie.
I like it without
get
the
that.
end credit scene though, so that kind of negates that.
Well, you're different.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying
Maybe
the
it's
end
not.
I
credit
used to
scene-
work with a band. There's an opening act, right?
Yes.
And this was the opening act for the big headliner, which is Endgame. There's
Sometimes you go see a band and the opening act's better than the headline.
yeah, it can be. It
And
can
we,
be.
and we don't know how good
I
Endgame
don't
is going
think
to
that's
be,
the
right?
case.
No, I'm just saying it was.
Here, though,
I'm just saying it was a
Joe.
good movie.
I'm messing with you.
I liked it.
Jack.
You're saying it stands on
happy
its
with
own.
it. I was happy with
Yeah,
it.
and I think a second Captain Marvel, where she's dealing with what she's dealing with while she's gone, is an awesome flick.
I think
Makes-
the one where she plays Shazam in the next. That's the.
Yeah, the-
okay.
So now,
No.
the next
Wow.
Wonder Woman is supposed to take place in the 80s. So
Really?
I think it's going to be like
They're
a
playing with
weird
decades.
comparison
86.
to make in the future.
86.
All right. Well,
84.
let's wrap
it's
it
Wonder
up.
Woman 84.
Um, any final words over at the replay booth?
Excelsior.
No, I liked it when she crashed into Earth. I mean, then it was just like then you're back in '95 again, and it was just cool.
Oh yeah.
Great year, 95.
All right, that's your
Yeah.
wrap up on it. Okay, thanks,
Yep.
Donnie.
I've got an extra. Or you got to go, Corbin.
Huh? Yeah, great year, 95. Liked the movie. I did like the toy reference. The 90s, like I didn't have any of those, but I saw a lot of 90s toys and also
the Nerf
band
gun.
t-shirts.
Corbin, you did not like the movie
Yeah, the
when we
band
started this
t-shirts were
podcast.
cool.
And
Yeah. I
think
you've
you
gone
turned
from middle thumb to.
Oh no, the 90s
I like the
references. I
movie.
thought they did
Oh,
solid.
you like that?
I didn't like
you
it.
just,
Didn't
when
like
I
the
said
lows.
wrap up the movie, you just wrapped up the 90s.
Oh,
And you know why? Because
Solid.
Donnie led you there. Because Donnie went off on a tangent. Donnie, what's it like having an extra friend over
It's
there?
nice
with you?
having a co-host.
And a chair.
Donnie's the host now.
All right, wrapping it up over here.
Put on 90s music on the way here afterwards because I couldn't not. And
puts you in the
Zombie
Ooh.
from the Cranberries came up,
Perfect.
and I just thought that was perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, with their tanks and their bombs in your head.
Adonis, thank you very much. And no,
No, I listened to Space Jam. So.
Yes.
okay,
Yep.
but you're gonna watch again to see if maybe you like it more than you think you liked it.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, I'm glad I could rent a theater for everyone to not like a movie, and then you go pay for the movie and like it on your own.
I'm not going to watch it
sorry.
again, Frank.
No, it's.
Frank, I'm not going to watch it.
I liked it. I liked it overall. I did feel like it was pretty much a trailer for Endgame, but at the same time, I didn't mind that. And I have a 12-year-old daughter who is ecstatic about it, so that makes me happy too.
I definitely like the movie 100%. I'd go see a second one without seeing Endgame for sure. And but the first thing I noticed, and this is completely off topic, is I really want to see Frozen 2. That trailer was fantastic.
Yeah,
Have you
great
seen
stuff she
Frozen
does
1?
Yeah.
Yes, a million times.
Frozen 1 was a prequel to
I'll tell you-
Frozen 2.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
what.
pointless movie, but at least there's Frozen 2, right?
She
Yeah,
could do
exactly.
some things that I wish Carol Danvers could do.
Ooh.
Go,
Cold take.
Ashley.
Cold take. Oh, Batman.
Cold pizza. 90s ESPN reference. All right, Ashley.
How apropos. I enjoyed the movie. I did enjoy it more than I thought. It was still a solid meh for me, just because it's not my favorite character.
Solid meh. That's going to be, when you're here, it's
Solid,
a solid meh.
Solid meh. I didn't want to judge it
Simple
too
for
harshly because I'm so opinionated about the character.
By the
So
way-
yeah, it's pretty good for me.
Why do you dislike the Captain Marvel
Civil
characters?
War 1 and 2
Yes.
in the comics.
Yep.
Hands down,
Thank
I feel like it's so different from where their character originally started. And she did this whole, I mean, she's got reasons, she's got issues. But yeah, I'm totally solid Team Cap, so I get irrationally
You
angry.
really are Team Cap. You
I
even
totally,
if you've got a Captain
yeah,
America,
I
it's
brought my Captain America gear. I couldn't help myself.
Solidarity.
Hashtag not my captain.
All right. Well, that's it. We will see you with a show next week. Thanks, everybody. Great job. And at Comic Playground on all the various forms of social media. Follow us, like us, love us. Friendship for everyone.
Friendship.
That's it.
See ya.